Hello and welcome to Saturday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, and I'd like to start today with a nice message. I'd like to wish Ruth a very happy birthday. Ruth Tieran, I think it's Tieran, it could be Tyron, your boyfriend got in touch, and I was touched to read about how the two of you enjoy solving the puzzles on the channel together. So I hope you have a great day and enjoy what should be quite a treat on the Sudoku front. You can see this puzzle on the screen, which I will tell you about in a moment. Now, next, I noted this yesterday, but I have put my attempt at solving PHISTOMEFEL'S new logic problem, which is called Sisyphus, up as a bonus video for the channel's patrons over on Patreon. That is available right now. It's a fascinating puzzle because it basically involves thinking about rocks being tossed into the side of the grid and those rocks rolling down hills with the numbers in the grid representing the height of the hills. Anyway, Stuart Taylor wrote to me, and some of you may know Stuart better for because he's a YouTuber, and his YouTube channel is Chain Bear, and he sent us what I'm going to play to you now, which is a fantastic. Well, if I can find it, where did I put it? Where's it gone? Oh no, I'm not going to be able to find it. No, is this it? No, that's not it. Here we go. Here we go. This is it. This is it. This is PHISTOMEFEL'S puzzle rendered in 3D by Stuart, who makes me not only jealous of his YouTube subscriber numbers, but also his 3D rendering skills. Look at how beautiful this is. I mean, I know PHISTOMEFEL does watch the channel. I think he will be just thrilled with seeing this. You can see the rocks rolling down into the grid. Yes, that is the correct solution to the puzzle as well, but of course the video explains how to get there. It's a very tricky puzzle indeed. Anyway, Stuart, thank you so much for that. I absolutely loved it. Now, on to today's puzzle, which has an interesting backstory. On our Discord server, it's relatively common for a bunch of brilliant setters to collaborate on setting a Sudoku, and the way they typically do this is that each setter takes a turn to add a new thing to the grid. So it could be a new given digit, or it could be a new thermo. Well, during a recent collaboration, the brilliant constructor Qodec introduced a killer cage into a puzzle that looked very like this one, and apparently the killer cage that he introduced broke the puzzle in that it introduced well, multiple solutions, and he was so surprised by this that he took the puzzle away and reworked it to produce the puzzle that you can see on your screens now. But he wants to credit all of the others who contributed work to the puzzle in its initial stages, because they are responsible for the break into this one. So just listen to the author list for this puzzle: Shye, Ben, Xoned, Abed, hawila, Botaku, ahaupt, Hackiisan, Qinlux, Ethz, Newman, Zack Szekely, Strosahl, Reverend and Gliperal, and Qodec himself. I mean, the combined IQ that this puzzle has been subjected to must be something like 2,250 at least. The puzzle is called Symmetry, and because all of them have obviously contributed rules during the setting, it does have a lot of rules, but I don't mind that because I'm very happy to trade rules for genius. Now, I'll read the rules. Here we go. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Each of the digits in the white circle, that must be that one, must appear in one of the 4 cells surrounding the circle. So each of those squares are going to have to be the digits 1, 2, 4 and 8. The green areas are clones. Okay, they must contain identical digits in identical positions. I see. So if this was 1, 2, 3, 4, that would also have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, exactly in that way. What we couldn't do is something like this. Although these contain the same digits now, they are not in the same positions. What else? The 2 purple cells are also clones. Right, I can see those. That's good. And must contain the same digit. Alright. Digits in a cage cannot repeat and must sum to the small clue in the upper left corner of the cage. Okay, we've got 2 cages, 145 cage indeed. So that's going to have to, because of the secret, contain all of the digits from 1 to 9, because if you add up all of the digits from 1 to 9, you get 45. Digits along a thermometer must increase from the bulb. Only one thermometer, I think. So that means whatever you put in that square, this square must be higher. And so let's do an example thermometer. If this was a 1, this has to be higher than 1. It doesn't have to be 2, that could be 4, that could be 5, that could be 7, 8, 9. Something like that would be a completely valid way of presenting a thermometer. A black dot between two cells means that one of the digits in the cells is exactly double the other. So we've got black Kropki dots there, look. Not all possible black dots are given, so that relationship only applies to those 3 squares in the grid. But, well, it's perfectly possible for there to be other possible black dots in the grid. They are just not shown. Cells with a grey circle must contain an odd digit, so that's odd. In fact, I now know what that square is because I can see what the cage contains. And cells with a grey square must contain an even digit. So there are, I think, 3 cells that must contain, those 3 cells must contain even digits. So that's all the rules, a lot of them, but all standard, I think. Do have a go yourselves. How often is it you get to do a puzzle that's been prepared by so many fabulous, fabulous minds? The way to play is to click the link under the video. Now I get to play. Let's get cracking. And, well, I'm going to start down here, actually, because a 23 cage in 3 cells we know has to be 6, 8 and 9. And last time I looked, 9 is the only odd number in that triple, so we can actually place a digit immediately, which is a rarity. Now those cells have got to be 1, 2, 4 and 8 in some order. That one can't be 8 because it sees an 8 already in box 7. Yeah, okay. Now, a run of 3 black Kropki dots has a restriction that if you do a lot of Kropki, you'll be very familiar with. But basically, because each of these has to be double the other, let's think about how this could work. We could have a 1 here, double the 1 to get 2, double the 2 to get 4. That would be one way of making these squares work. What about if we started with a 2 instead? Well, 2, we have to double 2, that would be 4. We can't halve 2 because then if this square is a 1, this square would have to be a 2 again and the 2's would clash. But we could go 2, 4, 8. Whoopsie, lost my army. Misclick. So 2, 4, 8 is possible. Now nothing else actually works here because if we go 3, 6, we'd have to go 12, and 12 is a 2-digit number and cannot appear in a Sudoku, at least not in this Sudoku. So we know that this is either like this or it's the other way round. With the 1, 2 here, this is always a 2 or a 4, and this can be a 4 or an 8. Now the thing to realise about a string of 3 Kropki dots is that in either of those iterations, whether this is 1, 2, 4 or 2, 4, 8, you always must have a 2 and a 4 on the black Kropki dots. So if there's a 2 and a 4 here, that means that square is not a 2 and a 4, look. No, it means more than that. It means something interesting about those squares. Which, right, yeah, these squares also can't be 2 and 4. Because if they were 2 and 4, they'd repeat in the 45 cage, which is against the rules. But those 2 squares are even, so must be 6 and 8. Which means there's no... yeah, okay, which means there's no 8 now on the Kropki dots. So that bounces back in there. And we now know that this is a 1, 2, 4 triple. And if it's a 1, 2, 4 triple, where does the 2 go? It always goes in the central square. So we've actually done quite well with this. We've got, it's like we're working our way up the diagonal here, but we've got a 1, 4 pair here, which means that square's an 8. Remove 8 from the other quadruple squares. Sorry, let me just take a stare now. Hang on, we're off to a remarkably good start. That square's a 6 because it can't be an 8. Oh, that being a 6 finishes off the 8 here as well. Now this square's got to be a 4 or a 6 because it can't be a 2 and it can't be an 8. And now, well, now the thing that's catching my attention, I don't know if this is what I meant to look at, but it's the symmetry. In fact, it might be symmetry. The puzzle is called Symmetry between this box, which is a 40. Effectively, this is a 45 cage, of course, because obviously box 5 of the Sudoku must contain all the digits 1 to 9. But this is also a 45 cage, and it's the symmetry. You know, these two 8s are symmetrical. So the cells that are sort of in those positions, which have to be 3, 5, 7, and 9, are also having to appear in these positions in box 5. So there's like a... Oh, I've misclicked there. Look again. These squares here have all got to be 3s, 5s, 7s, and 9s, sort of in a ring. In fact, it's almost like I've almost built a rocket now. Doesn't this looks like a rocket? These are the rocket boosters. This is the going up to the tip of the rocket here. This puzzle should have been called Rocket Qodec. Look, I've built one. Now hang on a minute. Can we do something with this? 3s, 5s, 7s, and 9s. This is extremely suspicious when you think about the people who are working on this puzzle. Hang on a sec. Let me just spot what this means. It means that come on. What does it mean? 2 in this box you can never put a 2 this far up the thermometer. Look, let's try it. If we put 2 here, we'd have to go 1, 0. I can't even put -1 in, but clearly we're getting into the realms of deep nonsense now. Let's not go there. So 2 in this box, I think, has to be in one of those 2 cells. So it's not there in the 1, 2, 4, 8 quadruple. So there's a 2 in one of these cells. So that means there's no 2 in those cells in box 9. 2... no, okay, 2. If I knew there was no 2 in the clone, look, I could place a 2 in box 4. Is there a way we can learn what's in these green clones? There doesn't seem to be. Doesn't seem to be terribly much we can do there, does there? Or am I missing? I'm probably missing something. That's interesting as well. I'm not thinking about the green clones now. I'm wondering about the purple clones, because I've just noticed the shape of this 23 cage. Now, whether this is a 6 or an 8, it's ruling whatever it is out of that square, and then the other square is ruling itself out of these squares. So in fact, neither of those squares can be 6, 8, or 9, or 2. So these squares have got to be 1, 3. We're getting into good levels of pencil marking here. 1, 3, 4, 5, or 7. What? This is lovely. 1 is impossible in the purple clone, because if you put 1 in it, where do you put the 1 in box 3? You have to put it on the thermometer. You can never put 1 partially along a thermometer. It must always be in the bulb if it's on the thermometer at all. So we can get rid of 1s from the purple. Now, 3. Can we get rid of 3? Can you put 3, 2? Oh! No! I can't put 3 on the thermometer. I don't think. I can't put 3 here because this will be a 0. I can't put 3 here because this will be a 2 and it will clash. You can't put 3 in the purple. 4. 4 looks more likely, actually. You couldn't put the 4 here because that would place a 2 here, but you could have a 4 here. 4, 3, 1. 5 and 7. It's interesting. that whatever you put, oh no, if it's 4, that could be the 4. I was about to say whatever you put in the purple has to go on the thermometer. That's not true. Okay, my rocket launch is being stalled here. We can... Oh, bobbins, what am I meant to do now? Maybe I've got to pencil mark the thermometer. That's always... I mean, this would be where Mark starts the puzzle. He would have started with the thermometer, but I'm always a bit reluctant to just start penciling thermometers. It's a 6-cell thermometer, so there are lots of degrees of freedom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't like doing this. 3, 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 7. Mark will be laughing away to himself here. Yeah, you see, this is why you shouldn't do this. It does nothing. What am I meant to learn from this? That can't be a 2. I suppose if that can't be a 2, that propagates along. We can remove all the low digits from above the 2 on the thermometer. Now, if that's... I can see if that's a 4 now, I'd get a 2, 4 pair in box 6. Now, what else do we do then? Have we learned anything else about this thermometer? 6, I can't rule out anything. This square seems to have a lot of options. No, okay, I can't see what to do with that. I apologise if people are yelling at their screens now. There might be something we can do with the thermometer, I just can't spot it. Right, let's have a look somewhere else. Shall we look at... I'm looking and thinking, what else can we look at? Is it the clones we have to look at now? I've looked at... There's nothing else to do, is there? Unless it's the purple clones, it must be the green clones, I think. Okay, so what can we do with the green clones? We can... I know what we can do. We can do... This is why this matters. The blues are beautiful. Because, look, whatever... Well, how do I express this? Let's look at those squares in the green clones, the bottom left-hand cell. Because 3, 5, 7 and 9 see these squares. They either see them... Whatever's in those 2 dominoes sees this one, so it's ruled out of that one, and then whatever goes in those 2 rules itself out of that one. And these 2 are effectively the same cell. So 3s, 5s, 7s and 9s are not in the bottom left of the green clone. 6, 8, 9 is the same. So we can rule 6 digits out of the bottom left-hand corner of the thing. It's got to be 1, 2 or 4. 2 can't go there, so we get rid of 2, which means we get rid of 2. We've now got a 1, 4 pair. Oh, this is interesting. I've now got a 1, 4 pair in row 6, which means 4 has to go in this domino in box 6. Good grief. That rules it out of the clone, the purple clone this time. We don't know, I don't think, where it goes in box 3. Hang on. 1. Where does 1 go in this box as well? That has to be a 1, 4 pair. So 1 must be in one of those 2 cells in box 3. I love the way that these... It's like lots of empty rectangles built on each other, isn't it? 1... Oh, so 1 and 2 are a little bit interesting in box 2 now. This 1-2 combination have to go in exactly 2 of these 3 yellow cells. And they can't... yeah, there you go. They can't both go in these squares Because if they both go in these squares, those two squares would both have to equal 4. That's impossible. So if you can't put both of them in that domino, one of them must go in this square, which now cannot be a 3 or a 4. That is... it's nearly good, but maybe not quite enough. This 1-4 pair here must... Oh, now I've got 5s and 7s in this clone. So now 5 and 7, whatever goes in purple does have to be on the thermometer in box 3. If it was 7, it would be very powerful for the top end of the thermometer. If it was 5, it would be less powerful because it could go in either position. Right. So now what do we do? We can... Now we can... what have I not used? I've not... I don't know. I still haven't, I suppose, I've not done terribly much with the green clones other than in the bottom left-hand corner. So can we do anything with any of the other cells in the green clones? Gosh, it would be really nice to know if 2 is in a clone. These other 3 positions don't look nearly as interesting. Because, well, if for example this square, it might look at first blush like it's interesting in terms of blue, but it's not really, because this square is the equivalent in the other clone, and it's not being seen by enough of the blues to make it worthwhile. Quadruple. Oh, oh, that's very clever. I should have seen that immediately and didn't. Okay, very, very clever. Whoever came up with this, hats off to you. That fooled me big time. Right, the moment we got this 1-4 pair here, I should have been thinking about this square. Because this square is very beautiful indeed. Can this square be 1 or 4? The answer is no. Because whatever it is, if it's 1, well, this square can no longer be 1, and neither can this square, so that means both of those squares would be 4, and that breaks the puzzle. Now what about if we try 4 here? If this is 4, this square can't be 4, neither can that one, so that would give double 1 in box 4. That also breaks the puzzle. That square has to be a 2. That's lovely, absolutely lovely. Ooh, yes, this is good. This is good. Because now, hang on, let me just see if there's anything easier than this. Well, the thing I've noticed is that these 2s are now pinching all of the space that was available for 2s in box 2 and place the 2 there, which is actually not very helpful for our thermometer, a bit annoyingly. Oh, no, but it's still okay, because now I have ruled 2 out of the clone. So there's no 2 there. Where does the 2 go in box 4? It's got to go here. Oh, this is just gorgeous. Now look at the 2s. They operate like that on box 7. That's a 2. There's got to be a 2 in one of these squares. We can place 2 in box 1. Hang on, how many 2s have I got? I've got 7 2s now. Okay, and I'm just left with this little X-wing down in the bottom right. But that's definitely progress. Now, what does that mean? Now, hang on a moment. I just need to think. 8 in this box, look, has to be in that domino. I think I could have looked at that before. I just didn't spot it. 8 has to be in that domino. So, oh, Didn't notice this 8. So 8 has to be in this domino. Oh, maybe it's not 8s then. I can't see how to use that. Okay. Eight, you can nearly rule 8 out of the clone, because you can't put 8 here, because this 8 sees that square, which is the bottom right of the clone, and through box 8, look, it sees that one, which is the top left of the clone. So we need to rule 8 out of that one, and we know 8 wasn't in the clone. Don't see how to do that. Okay, right, let's find something else to do. I'm running out of ideas though here. We can... It must be something to do with these 1s and 4s, I feel. Can we disambiguate them somehow? We can... Oh, yeah, we can. 1 is here, look. So 1's got to be in those squares now, in box 2. That means that square's a 4. Therefore, that square's a 4, that's a 1, that's a 4, and we cook with gas. Although the fire has spluttered somewhat, rather early in its ignition. 4 has to be in one of those 2 squares, because of this 1-4 pair there. 1 in box 7 has to be in one of these 2. 1, yeah, look at this. 1 is not in the clone because of this 1. So where does it go in box 8? It's got to be in that. Oh, this is gorgeous. Now we get the 1 and the 4 figured out up here. That figures out the 4 and the 1. And therefore... Let's just have a look at... No, we still don't know enough about 1s, apparently. Good Lord. I mean, this is incredibly clever, though, isn't it? It really is a joy. It's just tricky. Now... Yeah, hang on. So now I've done a lot of these 1s and 4s. I think I'm still going to have to focus on this clone somehow. 1s, 2s and 4s. We know about those in this box. 6s. Yeah, oh, that's interesting. This 6 in the centre you cannot place in the clone anymore, because via this box and this box it sees all the cells in the clone. So 6 in box 4 must be up at the top there, which means it's not here. So 6 is down there. 6 must be over the right hand side of this box, therefore it's over the left hand side of box 2. And oh, come on, Simon. How do you make more progress with this puzzle? 1s and 6s are off the clone. Do I know about 9? Is 9 off the clone? No. 9 could be in the top right of the clone, I think. Oh, good grief. Right, okay. Earlier on, I looked at whether 8 could be on the clone, and I concluded I couldn't work that out. I could have worked it out if I'd been cleverer. Right. Can 8 be on the clone? Let's ask that question again. No is the answer, because this 8 rules it out of the top left square. So let's rule it out of there. This 8 rules it out of the bottom right square. Let's rule it out of there. Can 8 go in those squares? And the answer is no, because of this beautiful 23 cage, which will either have an 8 in this square here, and if there's an 8 there, it rules it out of the top right square. But the only other state of existence that can persist in the world here is that the 8 is in the bottom square here, in which case that 8 will rule it out of the top right of the other clone. Either way, you always rule an 8 out of those squares, so there is no 8 in the clone. Now, if there's no 8 in the clone, 8 must go up there, which is lovely. That gets me another digit on the thermometer, which gets me another digit on the thermometer. Whoopsie. So the top option is ruled out now. You can make that 6, but you can't make that 6 because I can't make that 7 anymore. And this is great. That means that square's got to be a 3 because it can no longer be a 5, because if this is a 5, you can't make that a 6. That is just, it's stupendous setting. Now 3 is not there, so 3 is in these squares. 3 in box 3 has to be in one of those two cells. 3 is not here. 7 as well. 7 is not there, so 7's in this domino. 7 is not here. There's so much intricacy around this central blue ring. 8. Oh no, 8. Oh, sorry. I keep seeing this 8 and not seeing it. Now. 7. 777 is beautiful in box 3. Where does 7 go? The answer? I haven't got a Scooby-Doo. But it must be in one of 4 positions. Now, whichever one of these 4 positions it's in, it sees a purple square, and that's all I need. These 7s can no longer be purple, therefore. Or the purple can no longer be 7. That's a better way of putting it. Those are 5s. 5 is now definitely on the thermometer in box 3. 5 is... Oh dear, that's not... Has that not done more than that? Oh. Oh no. Oh, I felt like that was a real breakthrough. I think it would be. If I knew 5 wasn't on the clone again, I can see that 5 is ruled out of 2 of the clone cells. Is there a way of ruling it out? Oh, I don't believe it. This is just beautiful. It is beautiful. Look, I just didn't... You don't think to look at this, but the 5 in box 7 is in one of 2 places now. And again, it's a bit like the 8 here. Whichever one of these is a 5 will rule out the top right-hand square of the green clone from being a 5. If the 5 is here, that square can't be a 5, so that one can't be. If the 5 is here, that one can't be a 5, so that one can't be. So 5 is not on the clone, which means... now I know what the clone is. I don't know how it's made. I don't know its positions, but look, in box 4, those 3 squares now are 5, 6, and 8 in some order. So let's tidy up my pencil marking, and then we will... So now I've got a 3, 9 pair, but these they're not in the same cage or box. 5, 6, 8. That's not... Oh no, that's not 5. I don't know whether it's... I've got a 6, 8 pair now in this column. But in this box... Well, actually, no, it's going to be easier. I'm going to be able to learn what these 4 squares are now. Well, I suppose I already know. They're 1, 2, 5, 6, and 8. So... hang on a sec. If I can, I need to put 5 or 8 into this column. I don't know if I can do that actually. Let's come back here anyway. These squares now have to be the other squares. They have to be 3, 7, and 9. So these are 3, 7, and 9. 9 is here. 9 we know where it goes in the clone now, because it can't go in the top left, from this 9, and it can't go in the bottom right from this 9. So 9 is ruled out of those squares, and the 9 must go in the top right of the clone. Now 9 isn't in those squares. 9 is not here. 9 is not there. 3, 5, 7 triple in row 5. 9 has to be in one of 3 places in box 9, one of 3 places in box 1, and we pause for breath while we work out what to do next. Is there some way we can... So these squares are going to be 1, 5, 6 and 8. Let's actually pencil mark it fully and see if we can see something useful. That can't be 5. That can't be 1 or 6. So this is 5 or 8. 5 is in one of those 2 squares. I don't think that's enough for us to be able to tell how they're disposed in this box. 3. Oh, actually, no, hang on, look at that. There's a 3, 5, 7 triple now in this column. So that can't be 5. That's got to be 8 apparently. Now that might be useful, because now I've got a 1, 5, 6 triple here. This 8 is seeing that 8's pencil marked over in box 9. That gets me another digit. I will take every digit with pleasure. Now, now the 6, 8 in box, the 23 box are finally fixed. 8s and 6s go in. That can't be 6. That's lovely. That gets me an 8 here. So now I've got a 5, 6 pair over in box 4. Now, what do I do now? I've got a 1, 5, 6 triple here, so I can rule 5 out of that square and that square. So one of these ring squares now must be giving up the ghost, surely. 3. Maybe not. No. Yeah, hang on, this we can get the 8 up there. This square must also be a right-in, mustn't it? Because if we use the 3, 5, 7 triple, we should be able to place a 4 in this column, and indeed we can. Now that... in fact, look at that. I've now got a 4, 5, 6 triple in box 3. I don't know how long that's been sitting there. I'm not sure how useful it will be, so it means that the cells around the edge have got to be 1, 3, 7 and 9. We know those aren't 1s. We know this is not 3. We know this isn't 3 because of the 3s here. We know that's not 7. And we don't know anything else. Okay, so we've got to do something different. Oh, this is almost a triple. I can't see how to use that. What am I missing here? It must be about to crack. We've got this 4, 5, 6 triple. We've got the cloak. We haven't actually. We don't know. Maybe we can somehow tell which is the order of these 3s and 7s. What do we know about 3s and 7s? We know that we've got a 3 here, a 7 here. We've got... Actually, we know very little else about... 3s and 7s are all over the blue ring. Oh, good grief. Right, okay. They are all over the blue ring. Let's look at this square. This square tells us we can how to disambiguate the 3s and the 7s. If this square is a 7, where is the 3 in the clone, in the green clone? Well, if this is a 7, the green clone, obviously the 3 will be in the bottom right of it. If this is a 5, look what happens to this square. This is a 3, therefore in this green clone the 3 is in the bottom right. So whatever this square is, the 3 is in the bottom right of the green clone. So those we can fill in. We can fill in the 7s in the top left. Now that might do it. 3s are now in one of 2 positions, I think, in box 7. 7 is now ruled out of this square. Oh, it's so strange the way this is sort of unfolding. I've got... Come on, is this square a naked single? 1, 3s, 5s and 7s. Yes, it is. Look at that. 1s, 3s, 5s. The only thing this can be is a 7. Which means nothing. It gives us a load of pencil marks. 7 has to be in here, which we already knew. Oh, come on, Simon. 7 has to be in one of those 2, which we probably already knew. I just hadn't figured it out. No, we didn't know that until we got the 3s and 7s figured out. So I will forgive myself for that oversight. That was not really an oversight. Oh, look at column 1. We've got to place 1 and 3, and there's a 3 here. So this square has to be a 3. This square has to be a 1. Now that's a 5, and that's a 1. That's a 5, and that's a 6. Keep going, keep going. This 5 means that's a 1, that's a 6, that's a 5. Now that might matter. Does it matter? This 1 is interesting. Yes, it is interesting. That's got to be a 1 by Sudoku of all things. Okay. Now, what now? Okay, let's look at those 2 squares. They are a 1-2 pair. We can look at these 2 squares. They're a 3-4 pair. But there's a 3 here in one of those 2 squares, so that becomes 3 and 4 in that order. The 4 might, yes, the 4, this 4 here, finally unravels the thermometer. That's a 5, that's a 6, that's a 4. This 5 is beautiful. It gives me a 3 here, and a 9, and a 7, and a 5, and everything is unwinding in the blues now. All of those go into the grid. Now in this column, look, we still need 6s and 9s into those 2. We probably need to be pencil marking in a bit more diligently than I have been now. That square's got to be 3 or 9. 7 can't be here. Yeah, okay, let's bite the bullet. 4s, 6s and 7s. 6, 7, that's got to be a 4. 6, 7 pair at the top of the grid. So this square needs to be 3, 4, 3, 8 or 9. So that's 3 or 9. This is 8 or 9. This is 3 or 9 again. So the 8s actually are going to give us that square. Now let's try and think about these squares then, where we need 2, 5 and 6. 5 can only go in the centre of those 3 squares. Now the 2 must go here, I think. That should be a 6. This 2 gives us the 2 and the 1. That places a 1 there. Now I've got a 7, 9, making this square a 3, a 9, a 3. These squares have got to be 6, 7 and 9. So we can place the 9. We can place the 6, we can place the 7, and that 7 and 9 gets resolved, and the 9 and 6 get resolved, and the 6 and 7 get resolved, and we can click tick, and that is how to solve a quite brilliant puzzle. My goodness me, the amount of intricacy that has been incorporated into this Sudoku is quite incredible. The way the clues interact, I'd love to know who came up with each of these clues. There's so much to admire. the way this 1248 thing worked with this square in particular and this 1-4 pair is quite stunning. The way that this little, I mean, it looks like nothing, this 689 cage, but the way it works in terms of the fact that it operates on those two cells in the clones is quite incredible. The way that these purples can be whittled down is lovely. I mean, the whole thing is just a joy to me, absolute joy. It's got so much brilliant logic in it. Let me know in the comments how you got on. Let me know if you enjoyed it too. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.